Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. So you're not going to believe what I'm going to be talking about today. You know how we've been talking about how contractors build houses and that we are really our own contractor and we are building our own house when we're building our lives. The housing, this body suit that we live in, this human container that we have, that's ours. That's our house. But so is our soul. So is everything, our well-being, the way we think, all of it. And we have an opportunity at any given moment when we make a decision to remodel, to change things up. And we talked about that from a realtor's perspective, like what are the things that add the most value if you were trying to resell a house? And we took that and said, well, what does that mean to me? And we talked about the kitchen and the bathroom and the bedroom and adding more square footage and how that impacts us. So interesting to me. So interesting to me how the overlay was. And like I said, maybe we were stretching a metaphor, but who cares? It worked, right? Today we're going to be talking about how wise women build with bricks. Bricks. And I started thinking about that this morning, and guess where my mind went? Something probably you younger lovelies are not going to be thinking of, but for me, it was all about the Three Little Pigs. Remember the Three Little Pigs? I'm telling you, the Three Little Pigs. So the Three Little Pigs, I'm going to tell you the story, and then I'm going to break it all down, and yes, stretching that metaphor out as hard as I can. Are you with me? Pinkies up. Let's just go. Let's just do that. Right? Here we go. There were three little pigs, and their mother said, it's time for you to go out on your own and build your own homes and have your own families and what have you. So they were kicked out. They did not live in their mother's basement on the couch playing video games, by the way. Mama Pig would have nothing to do with that. So we give Mama Pig her points, right? We give her props for that one. So these three little pigs are out and about, and you know what? The first little pig, that first little pig, he was basically a lazy pig. This is what the story tells us. All right. I'm going with, this is not politically correct, right? By the way, to be calling, but it's a pig. A pig is a pig. It's a pig. And he was lazy. And he liked to sing, he liked to dance, and he liked to play around a lot, but he needed shelter. So he quickly made a little house with straw. That was enough shelter. That's all he needed. And gave him more time to play around and to hang out with little pig number two. Little pig number two. He built his house too. What did he build it out of? Twigs, sticks. They both hurriedly got their houses up, and they had tons of time for playing, for singing, for dancing. And that's what they did. Well, pig number three, he was a diligent pig. This little diligent pig decided, I want a house that stands. I need a house that's going to shelter me from all of life's storms. And he built his house out of brick. Nice, strong house out of brick. He worked hard all day on that house, and he built it with a big chimney and a fireplace. He had the whole thing going on. It was a nice, sturdy little house. It was going to keep him cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Smart pig. Well, guess what? The wolf came a-calling. He could smell pig in the air. He could smell it. So the pig comes a-calling, and he's looking and he's saying, I smell pig. And it was easy because through that straw, you could smell that pig through the straw. And he knocks on the door and he says, little pig, let me in. And the pig answered, no, 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 by the hairs of my chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And guess what? That is exactly what he did. He huffed, he puffed, and he blew the little pig's house down. So what do you think the little pig did? he ran off and he went to pig number two's house, the little stick house. And he went there and he hid and he said, oh, there's a big wolf out there. And he said, don't worry, we'll be okay here. Well, what do you know? Next thing you know, you hear a knock on the door. Boom, boom, boom. Little pig, let me in. And the little pigs answered in unison, not by the hairs of our chinny chin chins. When's the last time you heard the story, by the way? He said, then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow the house down. And you know what? That's exactly what he did. And that wolf got really close trying to bite those two pigs. And they ran off and went to the house, the brick house, ran in, got inside, shut the door, and said to pig number three, the wolf's out there. And the pig number three was like, that's okay. He went over and he filled up a pot with water, put it over the fireplace and started boiling this pot of water. Put a lid on the top and got it all nice and hot, right? So next thing you know, you hear it. Little pigs, let me in. And all three of them answered, not by the hairs of our chinny chin chin. Then I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow the house in. And guess what? He huffed and he puffed and he didn't blow the house in. Then he huffed and he puffed again and he huffed and he puffed and he huffed and he puffed. But this time he huffed and he puffed himself into, Catherine, you're cracking me up. He huffed and he puffed himself right into exhaustion. This little wolf was laying on the ground with his tongue hanging out going, oh my gosh, now what am I going to do? I can't get into that pig's house. So the pig's house was way too resilient and strong to be blown in by this big hairy wolf with a whole lot of hot breath. So finally he had an idea. And he saw the smoke coming up from the chimney, from the fire that was lit and the pot of water that was boiling on the thing. And he said, I'm going to go up, I'm going to sneak up, and I'm going to come in there, and I'm going to have 3 little pigs for dinner. And so he gets up onto the roof, and he starts coming down, and the third pig says, I hear him now. And don't you know, just as soon as that wolf came down the chimney, that little pig, the third little pig who built the brick house, took the lid right off the pot, the wolf fell in, and boom, the lid went on. And guess what? The 3 little pigs had wolf stew for dinner that night. So what is the lesson here? Can you guess where I'm going to go with all of that? Yeah, we're all rooting for those pigs, aren't we? We don't want the wolf to come and get them. So here's what happens here. After these 3 little pigs, I've got some lessons from this. Believe it or not, I've got 8 good takeaways from this. This isn't just a horrifying story for a little kid about boiling a wolf. This is not just that. There is a story here. There are lessons to be gleaned from this, right? Number 1 is that hard, consistent work always pays off. Take a look at the resiliency of pig number 3. He worked while they were playing around, while they were goofing off, while they were just having a good old time and singing and dancing as if nothing was ever going to happen. They just laid around. They were called lazy in the story. And not the third pig. He was a hard-working, diligent pig. That's number 1. Number 2 is dilly-dallying and just getting by often doesn't cut it. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't help at all. And it doesn't create resilience. All it does is it just delays and procrastinates and pushes things back until you're in hot water, like the wolf, maybe. Dilly-dallying, just putting things off. Maybe next Monday I'll start. Does that sound familiar? Number 3, planning ahead will help you capture the wolves in your life. I think planning ahead is one of the most amazing things that you can do. When you plan ahead, you're looking forward to what is your day going to look like. You know, we read in the Bible about the ants and how diligent ants are in the Proverbs. You know, how they constantly store for the winter. They're ready. An ant does this. If an ant can do this, and if a pig in a fairy tale can do this, think about what we can do with just a little planning. Not delaying, not dilly-dallying, but planning and a start date and getting into it and doing it. Number 4, quick fixes like straw and sticks are never the answer. They're never the answer. I've had questions like this before. I'm going to my 30th high school reunion. I want to look good. What do I need to do? Well, I could tell you. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen is you're going to get there, you're going to go to your 30th reunion, you're going to wow everybody in your great dress, and then in a month you can't zip that thing up. You know why? Because quick fixes are not the answer to anything. Quick fixes get you to where you want to go for this much time. But a quick fix, like sticks and straw, can be blown down. And a quick fix can put you into a place you're not going to want to be. Quick fixes are not the answer. What we want to do is not look so much too at what the dress size is. Also, we want to be looking at what the blood test says and how we feel in our own skin and what our pain level is. What if we did that? With resilience, with planning, with consistency, and a little hard work, we can get there and we can hold that place too. It doesn't have to be a flash in the pan like a quick fix like this. Number 5 is if you do hard work alone, if you do the hard work alone, the wolf is often the result of community, right? Okay, listen, if you do hard work alone, you're going to be alone. But your community is built when you allow others in. That structure that pig had all to himself, well, once he had his other two little brothers there, he built an automatic community and they stayed together. They felt safer together. This is what happens when we automatically decide that we're going to be all about community. Number 6, a firm foundation and an excellent building materials are always a wise woman's choice. A firm foundation, you know, your footing is sure. You know, excellent building materials. Well, guess what? Foundation's important, but without the walls, you don't have a house. So we need excellent building materials. We can get those and we can create this with a little hard work. Number 7, preparation for calamity ahead is what creates a plan B. Now hear me on this. We all have this expectation that just because we've made a plan, it's just going to go perfectly. And it doesn't. And sometimes it even slips away from excellent. Having a plan B, having something just in case, that's gold. What are you going to do if? Have you thought of that far? Have you figured that out? Well, you've got a wedding coming up, or you've got that you're going to be attending. What are you going to do for that? How are you going to prepare so that you're not, you're not going to go off the rails continually? How are you going to do that? Have you thought about that? Or what are you going to do? You get home late and you're caught in a traffic jam. There goes your dinner plans. What's plan B? Well, I say we always have a plan B. Like you can have food in the freezer ready to go. Quick thought, cook it up fresh, make it happen. There's always something you can do if you plan for it. Number 8, bricks are tools. Hear me out. Bricks are tools. Bricks create the very walls and the structure that we want. They're also part and parcel of a firm foundation. Bricks are tools. When we're using our tools in our lives, when we're helping to create the day-to-day life that we want to live, then we're going to find ourselves in a much better mindset with an idea of what's next, with an idea of how to run our days, and with an idea of what we want. How do you operate otherwise? No goals, no vision. No vision, no vibrancy. You hear me on all of this? I will tell you, this is important. So one of the things, and maybe this is one of the things I need to do like pronto, is take back your life journal. This journal is created specifically. I'm going to show you a blank page so that you can take your everyday goals, put them here. Do you see this? My intentions based on my goals, they're all I am statements, and you have them written all out to support the goals that you want to achieve by the end of 12 weeks. You start the day with gratitude. You look through your day and make sure that it's all placed together. There's placement involved. There's appointments that you make for yourself, like working out or cooking in the kitchen or whatever it is that you do. A wise woman has a firm grasp on her time. She doesn't just allow it to slip through her fingers. You don't get that time back. And this is why I love my journal so much, because I'll tell you right now, I've used so many planners, so many journals. I want something that is affirmative, something that says I am, and something that does it. This is a tool. This is a brick right here. And it's in you every single day. We also have our mindful mug. Look at this. I have grit, not quit. What does that do? That reminds you as you sit down for a meal that you're going to be mindful about that meal. It's going to be a Target trifecta plate, and you're going to eat mindfully, aware of being what it feels like to feel satiated and stopping before you're full. All these little things that we do, they're little bricks, and it helps bring awareness into our lives so that we can live it in a vibrant way. Because I will tell you, vibrancy is not at the very end of the rainbow. Vibrancy is the path that you build to get there. And as you do it, you get stronger and stronger, just like a brick house. You know, Juanita was saying brick house. She's a brick house. You could be a brick house. What about that? You know, the last thing too that I'm going to say is, listen, if you're not surrounding yourself with positive things, with things that light you on fire, with things that make you think differently, like vibrant lives don't just happen, they're planned and worked for. I said that. I don't know. Can you see that? It's true. It doesn't just happen. And if you want a life that is beyond just happening, then you're going to get really mindful about it. You're going to get very deliberate about it. And you're going to start brick by brick, building together and putting together the very house that you want to live in. That's the difference. That's the difference. I will tell you that wolves are predators. Did you know that? They're predatory. That's what they do. They're looking for easy prey. And all I want to say to you today is this: don't fall victim to a wolf. There's always one around the corner. It could be food that wants to take you down. It could be a bad habit that wants to put you on repeat to keep doing the same thing over and over again and still getting the same miserable results, right? Wolves are there to take you down, and they're looking for easy prey. What is your wolf in your life? Is it runaway cravings? Is it the inability to put together a day that makes you feel good about it at the end of the day? You have no goals, no vision, just kind of there? It's time to bring it all back. It's time to take back your life. And it's time to understand that you have the ability at any time to say, no, that's enough. Full stop. It's time to get on track, because I am not going to be easy prey for a wolf, right? Be smart like Red Riding Hood. Oh, it's another one. Another wolf. How funny that is. You want me to do sound effects next time? Okay. She huffed and he puffed. Oh, I love this. Susan said the journals do make a difference as long as you use them. They've made a difference in my life, and I use mine daily. The reason why, Susan, I agree with you, same here, is when you're using them daily, it is imprinting itself into your mind daily. When you change your mind, you change your life, period. That's all, as long as you follow through. You don't just sit there and go, oh, I wish upon a star. It's not going to get you very far. But when you get up out of that chair and go do something, you know what I'm saying? When you do that, I will tell you this: an ounce of action is worth a ton of theory. It's going to get you out of the jaws of a wolf every time, promise. Join me tomorrow. We're going to talk about resiliency, and boy, oh boy, do I have some good stuff for you on that. Thanks again for being here. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.